Have you ever rushed to chug a protein shake right after your workout? Because you thought you had exactly 30 minutes to maximize your gains? I know I have. When I first started lifting, I genuinely believed that if I didn't get that protein in within the magic window, my entire workout would be wasted. I'd literally be changing clothes in the locker room while desperately mixing my shake. But is this really necessary? Are we actually missing out if we don't consume protein immediately after training? Or is this just another piece of supplement company marketing that's gotten out of hand? By the end of this video, you'll have a complete understanding of what science actually says about post-workout protein timing. Because I'm going to break down the latest sports nutrition research and give you the real truth about the so-called protein window. But first, let me share a fascinating study that might surprise you. In 2023, researchers at the University of Texas compared two groups over 12 weeks. One group consumed protein within 30 minutes of training, while the other waited 2 hours. The results were not what most people would expect. Let's start with where this whole protein timing concept came from. The idea of an anabolic window emerged from research in the late 1990s, showing that muscle protein synthesis increases dramatically after resistance training. A particularly influential study from McMaster University in 2001 found that consuming protein immediately post-workout could increase muscle protein synthesis rates by up to 300%. This research formed the foundation of what we now call the anabolic window, typically described as 30 to 60 minutes after training. However, there was a crucial detail in these early studies that often gets overlooked. The participants had been fasting for at least 12 hours before exercise. They were training in a completely fasted state, then consuming protein afterward. This is a very specific scenario that doesn't reflect how most people actually train. Think about it. Do you really train completely fasted? Most people eat something before hitting the gym, or at minimum, have had dinner the night before if they're training first thing in the morning. This realization led to a shift in sports nutrition research. In 2013, researchers at the University of São Paulo in Brazil conducted a more realistic study. They compared muscle protein synthesis between groups who consumed protein immediately after training versus 3 hours later. But this time the participants had eaten normal meals beforehand. The results showed virtually no difference between the two groups. Even more compelling was a 2017 meta-analysis published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. Researchers analyzed 23 different studies and found no meaningful difference in muscle growth or strength gains between immediate post-workout protein consumption and delayed consumption when total daily protein intake was adequate. So does this mean the anabolic window is completely fake? Not exactly. The key is understanding that it depends entirely on context and individual circumstances. A comprehensive 2020 study from Stockholm University really clarified this. They followed 200 men and women for 3 months, dividing them into 4 distinct groups based on pre-workout nutrition status and post-workout protein timing. Group 1 trained fasted and consumed protein immediately after. Group 2 trained fasted but waited 3 hours for protein. Group 3 ate before training and consumed protein immediately after. Group 4 ate before training and waited 3 hours for protein. The results were illuminating. In the fasted training groups, immediate protein consumption led to 15% greater muscle growth compared to delayed consumption. However, in the fed groups, there was virtually no difference between immediate and delayed protein intake. This brings us to a crucial concept in nutrition science called the amino acid pool. When you eat protein, it's digested into amino acids that circulate in your bloodstream for approximately 3 to 5 hours. During this period, your muscles have access to all the building blocks they need for protein synthesis. Therefore, if you've consumed a protein-containing meal within a few hours of training, your body already has sufficient amino acids circulating to support muscle recovery and growth. The urgent need for immediate post-workout Protein simply doesn't exist in this scenario. But there's another important variable to consider. Exercise intensity and duration can significantly impact these recommendations. Research from the University of Tokyo in 2022 showed that the rules change when you're doing high-intensity exercise for more than 90 minutes. Extended high-intensity training accelerates muscle protein breakdown and increases amino acid utilization by the liver for glucose production. This can rapidly deplete circulating amino acid levels, making post-workout protein timing more relevant. In this study, participants who consumed protein immediately after 90-plus minute high-intensity sessions showed 23% lower muscle damage markers and 18% higher protein synthesis rates compared to those who waited 2 hours. So when does post-workout protein timing actually matter? First, if you've been fasting for 4 or more hours before training. This includes early morning fasted workouts, or training after a long day without eating. Second, during extended high-intensity sessions lasting 90 minutes or longer. This could be endurance training, very long, weightlifting sessions, or multiple training sessions in one day. Third, if you're training twice daily. When you have afternoon training after morning training, rapid recovery becomes more important, making immediate protein intake beneficial. Fourth, when maximizing muscle growth is critical, such as during injury recovery or for competitive athletes who need rapid adaptation. On the flip side, immediate post-workout protein isn't necessary when you've eaten a protein-containing meal. 2 to 3 hours before training, your amino acid pool is already adequate to support recovery. For typical 60-minute resistance training sessions, especially when you're not training fasted, the urgency isn't there. While consuming protein after training isn't harmful, missing that 30-minute window won't sabotage your progress. Here's the most important point that often gets overlooked. Total daily protein intake matters far more than timing. A landmark 2019 study from Harvard Medical School found that groups with adequate daily protein intake had up to 40% greater muscle growth than groups with insufficient protein, regardless of timing. Meanwhile, timing-only differences showed less than 5% variation. This means that how much protein you consume throughout the day is 8 times more important than when you consume it. Instead of stressing about post-workout timing, focus on meeting your daily protein targets consistently. For general fitness enthusiasts, aim for 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. If muscle growth is your primary goal, increase this to 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. A 70-kilogram person would need roughly 84 to 112 grams for maintenance, or 112 to 154 grams for muscle growth. Protein quality matters too. Complete proteins containing all essential amino acids are most effective for muscle protein synthesis. Animal proteins like eggs, chicken, fish, and dairy are naturally complete. Among plant proteins, quinoa, soy, and amaranth provide complete amino acid profiles. Distribution throughout the day is also important. Research from the University of Stirling in 2018 found that consuming 20 to 25 grams of protein 4 to 5 times daily optimized muscle protein synthesis better than fewer, larger protein meals. Let me give you some practical applications. If you train in the morning, have a light pre-workout snack with some carbohydrates and protein. A banana with a glass of milk works perfectly. After training, eat a balanced meal within an hour or two. You don't need to rush for a protein shake. A chicken salad or egg-based meal will do the job excellently. For lunch and dinner, include another 20 to 25 grams of protein each, with healthy snacks like nuts or yogurt filling the gaps. This approach easily meets daily protein requirements without obsessing over timing. Evening trainers should eat a proper meal 2 to 3 hours before the gym, including both carbohydrates and protein. After training, go home and eat dinner normally. There's no need for an immediate gym shake. Consider having some Greek yogurt or milk before bed, as casein protein can support overnight muscle recovery. Remember that supplements are just that, supplements. Whenever possible, prioritize whole food protein sources. Natural foods provide protein alongside vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that work synergistically for better utilization. Don't forget about other nutrients either. Carbohydrates stimulate insulin release, which supports muscle protein synthesis. A 21 or 31 carbohydrate to protein ratio post-workout can enhance recovery. Healthy fats from nuts, avocado, and olive oil support hormone production and reduce inflammation. Focus on adequate daily protein intake. Spread it throughout the day. Balance it with other nutrients, and maintain consistency. The fundamentals of regular training and proper nutrition will deliver results, regardless of whether you consume protein 30 minutes or 3 hours after training. Stop stressing about the clock and start focusing on the bigger picture. Your muscles care more about consistent quality nutrition than split-second timing. If this helped clarify the protein timing confusion, subscribe for more evidence-based fitness content. Let me know in the comments what nutrition topic you'd like covered next.